from Country Home to C3.
Yeah.
Well, while you're at it, why don't you just ask her to get Brad the copies that I got her? I don't know why this has to be so difficult. If you talk to her, why don't you just get them from her?
I had her, she texted him, why couldn't you guys just produce them? That's the thing that I was trying to get at.
So the motion,
Get a hold of Pat. I'll second the motion to get a hold of Pat.
get a hold of Pat and
Get the document from Country Home to C.
C3.
But if I understood what you said correctly, Mr. Eddy, you said it was from C3 to industrial,
That's what Sam says in Colorado.
Oh, okay. I just wanted to make sure we were phrasing it properly.
No, Pat does not know how her property went. They warranted it to C3, and now it's industrial. That's the problem.
Thank you for clarifying.
Do you want that to be a roll call too?
Yeah, make that a roll call.
Class,
Yes.
Duchesneau,
Yes.
Campbell,
Yes.
Davidson.
Yes.
Cruz.
Yes.
A motion was made by Sam and you seconded it.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Okay, under new business. We have a fire truck that has started, I think it started down the line.
It's in South Dakota right now, the chassis is done and finished, and it's in South Dakota getting everything else put on.
Okay, so the new fire truck is going to be $710,301. So, we have a fire millage that we put money aside for new trucks as they come along, because this truck, I think, is 20 years old. We're going to replace this truck, and there's $400,000 in the fire fund to put down on this truck. So we have, the fire company works with a company that would be willing to borrow the other $310,000, and they gave us the prices here at a 10-year, a 7-year, a 5-year, and all of them are almost 6% interest.
Why wouldn't we get a hold of our local bank? Because I know when I talked to the one.
Can I finish, please?
Just asking.
So if you look on the paperwork here, the last, I think it's the last page,
Yep.
the last fire truck, we paid the difference. We took the money out of the township and charged the fire department about 2%, if I
I thought you
recall.
said it was 4% last time.
No,
That's what our documentation said was 4%.
We were just guessing, we didn't remember. I looked it up and I talked to Darcy.
It was 2%. So we have funds available to borrow them the other 310, or 310.01 at the 2% interest over a 6-year period. So the first payment would be, would come due in January after the millage. We would take about $55,000, which the millage brings in about $170,000.
The first payment would be April 1st.
What is?
April 1st of 2025.
Yeah, April 1st of 2025, but you would have the next year's, or this year's millage in the pot to take the $55,000 out. Right? That's the way they figured it here. So that would still leave the fire department money for if something else went, or equipment always ages out, or the state changes how often the equipment's got to be changed, or whatever it is. So,
What do we currently have this money invested in?
this money is in the general checking, which I think makes, what'd you say? What was the interest rate on this particular money?
Fire savings money?
No, on money we would borrow to pay the rest off here was something like, it was less than 2%.
Yeah.
Why do we have that much money only getting 2% when everybody's offering 5 and 5.25 right now? They only
They
just
don't offer
recently.
5.25 in the checking and savings. Maybe it's CD.
Okay, so my concern would be that we just authorized the surveying, the initial work for $43,000 for South Linwood Beach. We do not have a plan in place yet for how exactly we're going to deal with that problem, but the numbers that have been bandied about are $750,000. So to tie up over $300,000 in this way concerns me a little bit. Just because we have it right now doesn't mean that we don't have a much bigger project coming. We also have the roads in the village that need to be looked at. That's another very expensive project. That is, both of those are well going to exceed what we typically would spend or what we get from millage or anything that we have in our accounts. The other concern that I have is that we have a difficult time getting grants, including grants that would have contributed to this, because we don't have debt. When they see that we have no debt, they don't want to give us grant money. Sometimes there is a good aspect of having a little bit of debt when it comes to applying for grants, especially when it's manageable. So I think we need to consider that, rather than tying up the money that we have when we have big projects coming. And given the fact that the fire department has been very active in grants, and we certainly have a lot of ability there to take care of some bigger projects, getting matching funds from grants is going to put us in a better situation if we actually have a manageable debt for this amount of money, and gives us the freedom to be able to take on some of those bigger jobs that we know are coming.
It's my opinion that we don't spend 6% interest on the people's money when we have the money sitting here.
Part of my question is why is the money actually just sitting in an account and getting less than 2% interest? That's my question.
We have several.
Even a bad CD gets better than that. A short-term CD gets better than that.
You don't want to tie all your extra funds up in a CD. CDs are locked in. I mean, you can get them out if you pay, if you get them out.
No,
But
what
that's
you
not
do
the
is
move
you,
to take everything that you have and tie it up in a CD.
if you have an emergency come up and you have your money in a CD, you will lose part of the interest you've earned. You don't lose your principal.
Right.
That's where people are misconceived. Your principal isn't being taken away from you.
I can
What
say
you're losing is what's the benefit of. So, and if you
But
go
I don't agree with
and you,
taking all of our savings and locking it up in a CD.
you go and you stagger it in 6-month CDs, getting,
All right, so we're not talking about our CDs now, we're talking about the fire truck. So the other thing that hasn't been mentioned here yet is the old fire truck, which we can't get rid of until we get the new one, but we think we can get almost $100,000 for the old truck. So that would knock this bill down by $100,000 once we sold the old truck. Right?
how much you know, Counselor?
We're hoping we get 100,000 out of it. I mean,
We've had
That's what the
a ton of
market's
repairs
got.
on it, right? A lot of repairs.
that's why we're getting rid of it.
Yeah.
Because we should have got rid of it a while ago, but
Before we had the tough impact.
So,
we had that option.
Conservative.
We had that option. So,
I would make a motion that we purchase the new truck, we use the $400,000 that we have, which still leaves them some money in the fire fund to work with until we get the next 170 in from the millage, and that we borrow them the $310,000 and 301 to pay the balance, and that they make the monthly payments on this schedule. And then obviously, we'll have Darcy change the schedule if they put the whole sale of the truck on this payment, then Darcy can make changes to this and give us the new figures
You mean the annual payments? Because there are no monthly payments.
of the annual payments, yes. The annual payments will be transferred out of the money that come in on the millage on April 1st of each year, which is around $55,246 until the truck is paid in 2030 would be the last year. But if we put $100,000 onto this, this will change the payments or adjust the years depending on what we want to do at the time.
Has anybody looked at any of the local banks to see what their rates are?
I made
Just
a
to see.
motion. Do I hear a second?
But you can do discussion.
You absolutely can.
Well, I mean, how do you guys feel about it?
All I know is this truck will be here the end of June, the 1st of July. It will not leave South Dakota unless they have every single penny with them to leave there. So all the information that we have, that the chief's given to me, that I've talked with Al from the company, is when they go to pick that up in, R&R has to have a check when they get there for $710,000 and whatever it is in order for that truck to come back. If they don't, that truck's not coming back. And if the truck's not coming back, there's no guarantee that that truck's coming to us. They can take the stickers off and make it somewhere else. So, they really need the money, and I left the number with them. By June 1st, they need a commitment with the money in their pocket. Because it should be here mid to late June, the first part of July. Now, things could change one way or another. I'm gonna make a call to Al on Thursday again, because they're supposed to be sending us pictures of the progress. We haven't got any pictures yet. It used to be they sent you down, and you could go look at progress, but they have
The other thing that we have learned, they didn't demand a down payment on this truck when it hit the line. So
Right.
the first truck we agreed to
It's gone.
was sold to somebody else after we figured out that they didn't ask for any down payment. They started checking on it. Well, believe it or not, they have not actually asked for a down payment on this truck, but
No, the chief signed a contract that said, we want that next truck off the line, so that's there, and that was, once we signed that contract, then that truck would be saved for us. So, and unfortunately, prior to this truck, there was a truck before that, and other ones we were looking at, prices go up sometimes monthly on trucks. Our truck that is down getting worked on right now, when we went to buy that one, there was 2 months of talking about what we were gonna do, and in 2 months, it went up $50,000.
if I remember right, if we don't take this truck, the next one goes up dramatically because of
It
the
does.
emission
Okay, so
controls.
that's not even the discussion. Nobody's saying, do we take this truck or do we not take this
We're,
truck?
I know we're
You
getting the truck,
I
I
mean,
just need,
that's
the
not
money
the
needs to be
discussion.
there by June 1st.
And I get that.
So how
but-
you guys do it, is how you guys do it.
Well, I think that it would behoove us to look at some local places that we already do business with and see if they come in at a reasonable rate, because that ends up putting us in a better position if we want to go after some of those bigger grants where we can say, this is what we had to do. It does make a difference when you're applying for grants if you have debt. If you don't have any debt, okay, this is very safe debt to have.
Oh, I don't
This
disagree.
is a true statement because
The area up in Pinconning, we were supposed to share it with them.
Yeah.
When the grant was put out, Dave wrote it for both of us, and area of Pinconning had to go it alone because we had no debt, so they would not tie us in on the grant.
Correct.
That's a true statement, and
So we lost half a truck, because we had no debt.
we're still gonna, we'll still be able to use the truck, it just won't be tied in with us.
Right.
And that's got nothing to do with this. I just need to make sure, while I'm filling in for the chief and he's off, that it is stressed that we need to have them the money by June 1st. How you guys decide to get the money is up to you guys to get it. We're paying it out of our mileage once it's done, that's what we've done with the last 3 trucks. They've all averaged about $50,000 to $55,000 a month or annually, however they pay it, and that's how we've always done it.
That's the
So,
last 3 trucks you've done.
That's the
that
last 3 trucks, the truck we just sold to replace the one we got, the one sitting out there now, and the tanker that's sitting out there. Those were all done based on, we took out the loan payment came out of our budget, and that's how it went. I just need to make sure that we have the money there by June 1st.
I
so
don't
that
anticipate that would be a problem. I think
I don't think it is
we need to
either,
have
it's
a
just-
conversation about the best way to get
And that's your
there.
conversation, that takes me
I
out of it.
agree.
I've given you all the
15 days,
information.
Lori, in
so.
15 days, do you think you're
All I
gonna
can
get a commitment though from a local
Well, we
bank?
didn't just start talking about this.
I already asked some banks what they would actually charge us interest, and I brought that up once before.
We brought this up when the first
Yeah.
approval went through.
I asked what they were going for a commercial loan, because nobody else was doing it. And they said they would want to look deeper at our financial But it would actually, FCU is talking somewhere around the 6% mark, and possibly they could do better than that. But they would need to look at our financial, but
So I
nobody in
guess it
this
just
office
depends.
looked any
If we
further.
wanna pay the 6% and be more
I
eligible
think we
for a
do not
grant.
wanna pay the 6%. So I have a motion on the floor that we use the funds for the 400,000 and the $310,301 that we borrow the fire department out of the checking account until the last truck is sold, and then we can adjust these payments or adjust the years, depending on how we wanna do it, depending on how much we get for the other truck. And that is the motion that's on the floor right now. Do I hear a second? I don't think paying 6% interest is in the best interest of the public of Coquihalla.
You know what? I didn't say it was in the best interest, but nobody else looked. That's what I'm pointing out. You have to look and check before you just go and jump off the cliff.
And if we get a grant that's a 50-50 match, we've more than made that back. And we've already lost grants, which they just told us. We've already lost grants because we don't have debt. This has come up before. It's the bigger picture. It's not just about what we're doing right now.
We're in good shape.
Good.
We have never,
Well, as long as we don't want grant money, I guess,
That's okay.
to help us with things.
I'll second.
Thank you.
that'll be a roll call vote.
Okay, DeShano,
No.
Campbell,
Yes.
Davidson,
Yes.
Cruz,
Yes.
Plath.
Yeah.
And that was 2%?
Yeah.
And then we spoke of that once the truck is sold, we can decide whether we're gonna shorten the years, drop the payments, we can decide how we want to.
No, I think the money should be applied to the loan, and then at the last of the, if the truck, I will make a motion that when the truck is sold, the money from the sale of the truck will go against the debt of the truck. Anybody want to second that?
I'll second that.
I think that's what we were saying.
Well, he's saying, well, you know, we can decide how to do this. No, it goes against this
Yeah.
debt, and then we adjust it when it's paid
Then are
for.
we adjusting the years or the amount of the debt?
Once we take 100,000 off, they can continue to pay that, and then the final payment will be adjusted. Or the final two payments won't exist. I'm sure our accountants
So
will
we're gonna adjust the years.
shorten it in the end.
That's fine.
Campbell,
Yes.
Davidson,
Yes.
Cruz,
Yes.
Plath,
Yes.
DeShano.
Yes?
All right, on to the 2024 road repair. So we have three roads, which is Schmidt Road, River Road, and Belltel Road that are past the grinding and shaping. Schmidt Road needs one final coat of chip and seal. River and Belltel will get 2 coats of chip and seal with a final coat next year. And then I asked him about, to give us a bid on Cottage Grove between 7 and 8 Mile, because that road is beyond the point of fixing the shoulders. It really needs to be ground and shaped for this year, and then 2 coats next year. So the total bill for all the work that we plan on doing is $286,112.
That's not what's on this paper.
It says 186.
Or yeah, 186,112. With 20,000 we get back from the road commission every year. So this would be 166,112 would be the total cost to us. And if you look, I'm trying to see where it is, right on the second line from the bottom, it speaks of a 10% contingency. Well, we've always come in under that 10%, so if you add all them up, there's probably another $15,000-$16,000 there that we won't be charged, but
So did you submit these to the road commission prior to going to Florida?
yes.
Okay. It's my understanding they require a board vote before you submit it to them, so how did you manage that?
These are road, this is a bid, this is the
Yeah.
road commit, this is the board vote.
But they required the roads that the township wanted to have done in March, after our March board meeting, and this was never voted on by the board, and this was never presented to the board. Typically, you do that when we talk about the budget, but that never happened this year, so if you turned it into the road commission, per the road commission, it requires a board vote to push it forward to them, that the township legislative body has made the decision that these are the roads that we want to work on, but that hasn't happened. So I'm just curious if you
We
officially
won't get
submitted
a
those.
contract on anything until we vote on this bid right here. So I commend you for your belief, but the three roads are
They
already,
No, it's
said
not
this was
illegal.
due by March 31st.
Yep, and then it had to have a board vote. There had to be a resolution of the board in order for it to
That's
go
what
to
the road
them.
commission said.
So we're just curious why that didn't happen.
it hasn't happened since I've been here. We've turned in the roads. Then we get the bids, and then we make an intelligent decision whether we're going to do them or not. In this case here, three of the roads are already in stage one. We need to move to stage 2 and stage 3 on 3 of the roads. Now, if we want to take Cottage Grove out of here, that's fine. The millage that we get for roads is around $170,000. So that can only be spent on roads.
But what happened back when the millage was approved, the township used to spend approximately $250,000 on road projects. And they said, in approving the road millage money, that would then mean that they could get caught up on fixing the roads in the township. What happened to the money prior to the road millage money that used to go to fix the roads? That's why we
You
can't
had to
get
put
caught
in
up.
general fund. You had to put some money from the general fund to do that kind of road fixing.
Okay.
Right now, we get about 170,000. This would be under that, especially if you take that contingency out of there, which we've never come to the cost of what they say it's worth. So, I would make a motion that we fix these roads, subtracting the $20,000 that the road commission will give us
I second it. Let's get the
for
roads done.
2024. Charlie seconded.
Davison,
Yes.
Cruz,
Yes.
Glass,
Yes.
DeShano,
Yes.
and Campbell.
Yes.
All right, so 2778 East Beaver Road. As the house has been torn down, and I have a letter here from the Department of Water and Sewer. The customer is requesting that stop billing the water capital and sewer debt charges. That's been on it since the house was torn down, apparently in October of 23. On September 28th of 23, there's a paragraph here that speaks of the technician visiting the property and the water and sewer lines, the property owner, that it was capped up correctly. So it should be about, I think it was
I make the motion.
Hold on. What is I mean, we're going back 6 months. When was this actually requested?
January 29th, 2024.
Wow.
so.
Why is it taking so long to get to us, I guess is my question. It was verified in September 28th of 2023, and this letter was sent in January. I mean, to backdate it that far, right? We actually, I mean, we just had water bills due again. We could have skip this whole water bill had this been presented to us where we could make that decision. I'm glad that they checked it, I'm glad that they proved that it was capped, that was not the case with the last one of these we got, but why did it take